Yeah.
Ever thought about swapping out some of the meat in your diet and what kind of impact that would have on your health? Well, they were doing a deep dive into a massive study
Okay.
that looks at just
You got it.
the health implications of replacing meat
Yeah.
with plant-based foods.
Makes sense.
And this isn't some small study.
Right.
We're talking about 37 studies
Wow.
combined, covering like hundreds of thousands of people.
That's impressive.
It is impressive.
Yeah.
So, and what's really cool about this research is it goes beyond just like simple correlations.
Okay.
They actually factor in things like exercise habits.
Right.
And whether people smoked, and even whether they had things like diabetes or heart disease.
Wow.
So they could really isolate the impact of meat versus plants.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it was really well designed.
So let's get right to the findings then.
Okay.
The results around processed meats.
Were pretty eye-opening.
I was going to say.
I mean, we're talking about things like
Yeah.
bacon sausage,
Yeah.
hot dogs,
Yeah.
deli meats.
All that good stuff.
All the good stuff.
Yeah. So they found that replacing just 50 grams of processed meat daily, which is about 2 slices of bacon or a hot dog, with a plant-based alternative, could significantly reduce your risk of developing heart problems.
Seriously?
Yeah, and depending on you replace it with that reduction, it could be 25% or even higher.
So you're telling me
that
I can reduce my risk of heart disease by a quarter just by swapping out 2 slices of bacon at breakfast?
Potentially. Yeah.
It makes you wonder if those meatless Mondays are really onto something.
Right.
The study also revealed what they called an anti-death food, which might surprise you.
Interesting. So the study found that consistently replacing eggs or red meat with nuts led to some pretty remarkable benefits. Okay.
For both heart health
Right.
and overall lifespan.
Nuts. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by the power of nuts in this study?
I was.
Really?
Yeah, it really highlights the impacts that even small dietary changes can have. Like, for example, replacing just 1 egg a day with a small handful of nuts, about 25 grams,
Got it.
was linked to a 15% reduction
Wow.
in the risk of dying from any cause.
That's pretty powerful for a snack.
It is.
The study's findings on nuts are pretty compelling.
Yeah.
It makes you rethink the power of those everyday foods.
It does.
So where does red meat fit into all of this?
Well, the findings on red meat were a bit less dramatic, but still worth noting, especially when you consider the long-term impact on your health.
Let's dive into that a bit more.
Sure.
What specific benefits did they observe when people replaced red meat in their diets?
Well, they found that swapping out about 50 grams of red meat a day, think like a small steak,
for things like nuts or whole grains, showed a reduction in all-cause mortality risk. The impact wasn't as big as with processed meats, but it was still noticeable.
Okay, so now I know what you're thinking. Time to clean out the fridge and go full vegetarian.
Yeah, but hold on.
Hold on a second. It's important to remember that this is just one study.
It is.
And everyone's body is different.
Absolutely. And the researchers aren't suggesting that we all adopt extreme diets. The key takeaway here is the power of gradual change.
Got it.
Even small substitutions can have a big impact over time.
So, like, for example,
Yeah.
maybe swap that bacon breakfast sandwich
Exactly.
for a whole grain toast with nut butter
Yeah.
a couple times a week.
A few times a week. Exactly.
You know, it's all about
Yeah.
finding what works for you
Right.
and making those changes gradually. What I found interesting
Yeah.
was that the study didn't just say,
Right.
you know, eat more plants.
No.
It gave like specific quantities,
Yeah, it did.
which I thought was helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This study provided some really concrete guidelines, like
Yeah.
that 50-gram recommendation. And remember, that's about 2 slices of bacon or a hot dog
Or a hot dog.
when we're talking about processed meat.
Right.
Yeah.
And those swaps can lead to some pretty impressive risk reduction. Think back to what we talked about earlier.
Okay.
A 25% reduction in cardiovascular disease risk
Wow.
just by replacing those 2 slices of bacon with nuts
Yeah.
or legumes or whole grains.
It's pretty remarkable.
It is.
Yeah.
Speaking of impactful swaps,
Okay.
the study also had some interesting findings
Yeah.
about eggs.
They did.
So
they found that substituting 1 egg per day with a handful of nuts.
it's about 25 grams.
Got it.
Could reduce the risk of dying from any cause
Okay.
by pretty impressive 15%.
That's a significant number.
It is.
It's amazing to think that simple food choices can have such a powerful impact on our health and longevity. But
while the study highlighted the potential benefits of reducing or replacing certain foods in our diets, it didn't really delve into the nutritional value of specific cuts of meat.
That's a good point. There's a big difference between like a heavily processed hot dog and a lean grilled chicken breast.
Wholly different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both fall under the umbrella of meat, but their nutritional profiles are very different.
Very different.
So while this study provides valuable insights into the broad impacts of meat consumption, it's important to remember that not all meat is created equal.
Not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This study focused on the impact of swapping out specific foods.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking about something else.
What's that? I'm curious. What were you thinking about?
Well, what about the overall balance of our diets?
Okay.
This study focused on, specific food swaps.
Right.
But how might shifting our overall dietary balance towards more plant-based options impact our health in the long run?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Makes you think about all the different ways we can incorporate more plant-based foods into our daily life.
And it's not about deprivation or like extreme diets. There are so many delicious and satisfying plant-based options available today.
Think about like those vibrant stir fries bursting with colorful veggies, hearty lentil stews.
Packed with protein.
Yeah.
Or like creamy cashew-based sauces.
Oh, yeah.
That are surprisingly decadent.
It's true.
Right.
And the innovation in plant-based meat alternatives is incredible.
I was going to say.
There are juicy burgers.
Yeah.
Savory sausages. Even crispy bacon.
Yeah.
That can satisfy those cravings without the downsides of processed meat.
I've tried some of those plant-based alternatives.
Yeah.
And have been really impressed.
You did come a long way.
You can really enjoy those familiar flavors and textures without feeling like you're sacrificing anything.
Exactly.
It's amazing how far food technology has come.
It really is.
This whole deep dive has really opened my eyes to the possibilities of plant-based eating.
Yeah.
It's not just about reducing risks. It's about embracing a whole new way of eating that can truly nourish our bodies and minds.
I couldn't agree more. And it's about finding what works best for you.
Right.
Your lifestyle and your taste buds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach to healthy eating.
Yep.
It's a journey of exploration and discovery.
It is.
Right.
And it's a journey worth taking.
Totally.
By incorporating more plant-based foods into our diets, we can not only improve our own health and well-being, but also contribute to a more sustainable and compassionate food system.
That's a powerful thought.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
we
want to leave you with one final question to ponder.
All right.
If we zoom out even further beyond individual choices, what role could a more plant-centric food culture play in shaping the future of our planet?
That's a great question.
That's something to chew on.
It is.
Thanks for joining us on this fascinating exploration of the meat versus plants discussion.
It was fun.
Until next time.
All right.
Happy eating.